It's again endemic racism, systemic racism that people are just fed up with. This has been going on from the founding of the United States, so it's nothing new. As some of the demonstrators have said, the only reason it's getting more attention now is because we have the means to record these instances so people can see it almost in real time, whereas that was never possible in the past. But these, of course, we're all familiar with the litany of these sorts of attacks against people of color in the United States. Eric Gardner and others over the last number of years. But you can trace this back, of course, far into the history of the United States. The American society is deeply divided. You have many people who are very racially motivated. You know, they are racist, and they outwardly express their racism. A legacy of the Confederacy. In certain parts of the country, you can go and you'll see more Confederate flags than American flags. I would say the majority of Americans want to see a resolution to this problem. They want to have good relationships amongst all of our people, but there's a significant minority, maybe a third of the country, and predominantly seen in the die-hard Trumpsters who are very prejudiced against not only against black people, but against Hispanics, against immigrants, against Asians, and this sort of America First attitude is deeply ingrained in large segments of the American people. And it's nothing that will change the typical divide and rule tactic. If you can create animosity between the races, between a native-born and immigrant, between black and white, between people of different ethnic backgrounds, if you can pit them one against the other, then it will be much more difficult for them to unite against the oppressive system that has a knee on all their necks. The thing is, do you think that this police officer would have been charged with third-degree murder within 3 or 4 days if there weren't mass protests in the streets across America? Of course not. Just as happened with Eric Gardner. That's 6 years ago, and none of the police officers involved in that incident have come to justice. So there has to be a sustained popular resistance to what's going on. It can't just be a flash in the pan. Generally speaking, when the U.S. in normal times, people go to work, they have their families, they have their life to lead, and only a very few will be motivated to go out into the streets and protest. And then again, you know, after a certain amount of time, that energy will dissipate and things will revert back to the status quo ante. But now, what do we have? We have masses of young people who are unemployed, who are out in the streets, who have been cooped up for 2 or more months without any opportunity to engage in their normal social life. Of course, the social life for people in their 20s and 30s is what their life revolves around, work and play. Well, now they have neither. They have neither work nor play, and they can see for themselves how decrepit and the U.S. system, economic, political, and social system has become. So there is the potential for these disaffected young people to be out on the streets for a prolonged length of time. What else do they have to do? Well, now it's a pincher a pincer movement. But there are three, there are three pincers. There's the economy, there's the pandemic, and now there's the unleashing of these social tensions. It's really almost something that's never been seen in this country when you have three such crises overlaying one another, creating the potential for the total disruption of American society. It's not going to get any better.